They do not reflect those of this network, his employer, any of the universities he attended, his family and friends, or former roommates, any of the 5 Temptations, the 4 Tops, or any number of the Pips. They may or may not reflect those of the other voices in his head. His dog, however, agrees with him 100%. And now, broadcasting from Venture X Studios in Frisco, Texas, it's the Snarky Parenthetical. Here's your host. He's highly caffeinated and mildly irritated. Here's Lathan Watts.
All right, welcome back to the Snarky Parenthetical. A lot to talk about today, so we'll jump right into it as usual. Today's show brought to you by Big Kahuna Burger.
Oh.
That is one tasty burger. And if you know that reference, you know that's all the dialogue from that scene that I'm going to be allowed to say.
Without a big long beep.
Yeah, exactly. Check out the big brain on Brad. That's about the only other line. All right. First segment today, we always do a little bit of news. Sometimes it's lighthearted news. Sometimes it's real news. Going to do some real news. Excuse me. New York Governor Andrew Cuomo. There we go. Hat tip Reuters. Found to have sexually harassed 11 women, reported the New York Attorney General, Letitia James. Made a big show this week, held a press conference, released her big report on her investigation of these apparently 11 women who had made accusations against Governor Cuomo. So the Attorney General puts on a big press conference and says basically that they had investigated all the claims. They are all reliable. And she said, I think at least twice during the press conference, that the New York governor had violated both state and federal law. The one thing that she didn't say was that she was going to prosecute the governor, which I found
Interesting omission.
interesting, right? You're the chief law enforcement officer of the state, and you said multiple times he violated state and federal law, but I'm not going to lead any sort of prosecution of these criminal offenses because he's charged with, this is serious stuff, right? I mean, sexual harassment is certainly a serious issue that these women can and I expect will bring civil claims against him. But she went into some, pretty graphic detail about the activity, and some of it involved, forcibly touching someone, which, would probably meet, I haven't looked at New York state law, but I would suspect it meets their definition of sexual assault and or battery. Those are crimes. Okay. And
Yep.
The Attorney General in every state is the chief law enforcement officer of that state. So why isn't she putting on a big press conference to announce that she's going to press charges against this governor? Instead, she just does a report.
Right.
And it points out, and it was something that I may have mentioned before, the real divide in this country is not really between left and right or one race versus another. It's between the governing and the governed.
Right.
There's a whole different system that they live by that you and I do not.
The elite and the rest of us.
The rest of us. That's exactly right. The governing and the governed. Because if you or I had done what Governor Cuomo did, and apparently has now been verified by the AG, I would already be in jail.
Absolutely.
Do not pass go. Do not collect $200. Like, here is your...
Straight on in.
Yeah. Here's your
the
cell.
jumpsuit and everything.
Exactly. Yep. Now, I should say, after she held this press conference, apparently some district attorneys in the relevant cities and or counties there in New York have announced that they are going to look into criminal prosecution. But,
doing her job, apparently.
Yeah. And it just, I think this is also an illustration of the dangers of one-party rule. Right. In New York, and this goes for both parties. This isn't a partisan thing. It is when you have one party total control of a state, the way the D's have in New York. Something tells me if this had been what was it, Governor Pataki was the last, I think, Republican governor that they had. And you had a D attorney general. She would have announced, oh, yeah, absolutely, I'm going to prosecute this guy to the fullest extent of the law.
Oh, of course.
But because it's her guy, no, we're not going to not mention that in the press conference. Right?
Yep. I mean, they've been awful quiet up there about a lot of verified reports that his decisions have led to the deaths of
exactly.
many people, elderly folks.
Perfect. That's exactly what I was about to talk about.
Right.
Not to minimize what he did to these women, but this guy's responsible literally for the deaths of thousands of people.
Right.
And no one is investigating it.
Exactly.
No one. Even the U.S. Justice Department made an announcement to say, yeah, we're not going to pursue any sort of investigation of what went on in New York under Governor Cuomo. I mean, this guy, he's responsible for thousands of deaths. I mean, he put COVID-positive senior citizens back into nursing homes rather than treat them in hospitals.
Exactly.
And thousands of people died because of it.
Yep.
I mean, you can make a case for criminally negligent homicide, and thousands of cases of it.
Right.
So, you know, the politics of this, people are now calling on him to resign. You know, Biden affirmed again at a press conference. He didn't bring it up. Of course, he was asked about it, but he answered the question. I give him credit for that, and he said, yeah, he should resign. Yeah. He's not getting really any support from any other D elected official. They're all on the bandwagon now. Yep, he should resign, and if not, then the legislature should impeach him. And the D's in the state legislature are talking about impeaching him if he doesn't resign, which is all well and good. That should happen. Okay, if he doesn't have the character to resign as he should, then yes, he should be impeached and removed from office. But that's the tip of the iceberg. The man committed crimes.
Right.
Okay. You know, just losing your political power is not punishment for what he did to these women.
Exactly.
And then to say nothing of the deaths he's responsible for. So if he does leave office, either of his own accord or by actions of the legislature, I just say, if I lived in New York and my parent or grandparent died in a nursing home because of what this clown did, I would, the moment he was out of office and couldn't claim any sort of governmental immunity, I would be suing him for wrongful death in a heartbeat.
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
And I expect it will happen.
I would sure think so.
I mean, I don't see how it doesn't. Once he's out of office, once he's, you know, as long as he's in office, he's gonna cloak himself in
some
immunity.
Yeah.
But once he's out of office, and I expect, you know, maybe he will be soon. All those people who lost loved ones in nursing homes, I hope every one of them comes after him.
Oh yeah,
because it would be just a great and travesty of justice if this guy gets away with that.
Yeah, especially if the AG's not coming after him at all.
Yeah.
Then
yeah, she's not going to do it. Maybe the DA is looking to make a name for themselves.
Right.
Will prosecute him on the sexual assault charges. But all you folks that lost loved ones in New York, find good lawyers. Go after the guy. He deserves it. He earned it.
That he did.
So there's that.
There you go.
Yeah.
somber story. That's
yeah. Yeah. How do you like that for kicking off the show? Start your weekend. Everybody's like, hey, I tuned into this show to get away from all that stuff. Next week, I'll find another good humorous news story to go make jokes about.
There we go.
But occasionally, yeah, just something like this comes across, and I'm just like, yeah, I can't let that go.
Something needs to be said about this. Yeah.
So
sure, it's not going to be said on CNN. That's for sure. His brother's still
right. Exactly. Chris Cuomo. How does that clown still have a show?
Right.
Because part of the stuff that came out in that press conference was emails between Chris Cuomo and Mario, where Chris basically was helping him craft his message and his response to the accusations.
Exactly.
And this guy still got a show on CNN.
Right.
Which I don't know why I'm surprised. Jeffrey Toobin is back at CNN. And if you can do what that guy did and keep a job, then I don't know what it takes to get fired from CNN.
The bar is so incredibly
That's
low.
pretty low.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It's below the belt, if you know what I mean. Mercy
Appropriately
sakes.
so.
Yeah. All right. So let's shift gears, shall we? Segment 2, we typically talk about either some entertainment stuff, some sports stuff, and I'm a history guy and I'm a sports guy, and this week happens to have one date in baseball history that I'm particularly fond of. So let's go ahead and take down Cuomo, and let's back this up and let people see this in all its glory. August 4th, 1993.
And there it is.
Here's Ventura, RBI single in the first. Watch out. Look at this.
Get him, Nolan. Get him.
This is one of my favorite moments in baseball history.
Legendary moment, for sure.
All right. So this was...
Oh, that's fantastic.
Yeah, you can go ahead and cut that. So this was August 4th, 1993. Robin Ventura makes the worst mistake of his career, charging the mound on Nolan Ryan. Nolan Ryan was 46 at the time, 20 years older than Robin Ventura. And as many have probably already made this joke, that's the only time Robin Ventura ever got 6 hits off Nolan Ryan in one inning. And there's part of me, frankly, that feels a little bad for Ventura, because from what I have read about this since, he genuinely is considered like one of the good guys in baseball. Like, it was just a bad day, and man, was it a bad day. I mean, you want to talk about wish you could take a mulligan on something, to mix metaphors. I mean, that... Whew. Nolan Ryan, also, by the way, was not ejected from this game.
Wow. That's a different era.
Was not ejected. Ventura was ejected. Okay. So you were talking about insult to injury. He takes 6 good right hands from Nolan Ryan, gets thrown out of the game. Ryan throws 7 innings and gets the win in the game.
Wow.
Throws 7 innings, finishes the game throwing. By the way, did you notice he was hitting him with his pitching hand?
Right. And he went right back up there on the mound.
Exactly.
Like nothing happened.
Yep. Finished the start. Went 7 innings. Got the win.
What a hero.
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, at 46.
I didn't realize.
Yeah, this was late. This was pretty
incredible.
late in his career when this happened.
Wow.
And, you know, one of the things I love about baseball, so when I first moved back to Texas, which would have been 2002, we went out to a game at the Rangers ballpark. So this, 2002, so you're talking almost 10 years after this happened. Mm-hmm. And Ventura was playing for the Yankees. And when they introduced him, the Rangers fans just booed him without mercy still. And I'm telling you, they would right now. If that guy was still playing and was at Rangers ballpark, they will never forget. And that's one of the things I love about baseball.
Yep.
If Ventura cured cancer and showed up to throw out the first pitch, he would get booed at Rangers ballpark.
Yep.
I mean, it's just...
Even then, Rangers fans like,
Exactly.
You know?
Yeah. Way to go on the cancer cure, but you charged them out on Nolan Ryan. So, sorry.
Yeah.
We have priorities around here.
Exactly.
So, yes, this is one of the many, many things that I love about baseball, the tradition of taking care of things on the field. Mm-hmm. And I, in interviews that Ryan did after that, he mentioned that, I think I got this right, that only one other time in his career had someone charged the mound on him.
Okay.
And it was earlier in his career. He was younger, and he did not mean to hit the batter with the pitch. And so when the guy ran out to the mound, Nolan said, so I just tried to kind of protect myself. I didn't really want to get it. He's like, and I took the worst for it.
Okay,
And I told myself that day that for the rest of my career, whether I meant to hit the guy or not, if somebody charges the mound on me, they're getting the worst of it. And Robin Ventura.
He made good on that.
Certainly did. And by the way, the other guy, the earlier in his career that charged was Don Baylor.
Oh, wow.
That's a mountain of a man.
Wow. Okay.
And you take a few shots from Don Baylor. I would probably, if I was in Nolan's shoes, decide, okay, yeah, I'm not putting up with that again.
Right.
Like, Don Baylor, I mean, was a beast. That guy broke a bat one time checking his swing. You want to know what kind of power Don Baylor had? Started the swing, tried to stop, pulled it back, snapped the bat.
That's hard to do.
That's power.
Wow.
My friend. Like, these are the sorts
power.
of this is the sort of useless knowledge that occupies my brain, right? So Nolan basically said, because I took the worst of it that time because I was just trying to kind of defend myself because I didn't really mean to hit the guy, and I can understand him coming out or whatever.
Yeah.
But from then on, I decided, no, that's not going to happen again. And yeah.
Did he ever?
Yeah, he took care of business there. So probably my favorite statistic of Nolan Ryan's, 5,000 strikeouts, 7 no-hitters, 1 TKO.
So, and he was 46 here. So
yeah.
So all the Tom Brady nuts that are
right.
So you
going to talk about Tom Brady?
He's 44, I think.
Yeah.
So
when Brady takes off his helmet and wades into a fight on the baseball field and takes somebody in a headlock and pounds them a little bit, then we'll talk about how tough Tom Brady is.
Exactly.
All right. Yeah.
Still have yet to reach Nolan Ryan heights here.
And look, I mean, most baseball fights do not end up like this one. Most baseball fights, somebody comes out, takes a wild swing, and then they tackle each other, and everybody piles on, and it's that's pretty much it. They're still closer to actual fights than anything that happens in football.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, football, you're out there in 20 pounds of protective equipment.
Right.
Right? Like
right.
Shoulder pads, helmet, face mask, all this other stuff. Yeah, everybody can be tough when you got a face mask.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, so
very true.
I get, most of the quote-unquote brawls that happen in baseball are not really that much to write home about. This is the exception that proves the rule. That and when Bautista took a solid shot to the face from Rugnan Odor, that was a real blast.
That was a treat.
Because and I loved that one too because you could tell Bautista thought it was going to be a baseball fight.
Right. Right.
Like he puffs up and walks at him, and Odor was like, "No, this is a real fight." You will go back and watch that in slow-mo, and Bautista's knees buckle. Like, it was almost a knockout.
Oh, yeah.
That was the real deal.
He did not see that one coming.
Yeah. And that was one of those things, like, that's how you take care of that, right? In baseball, we have traditions, and we take care of things on the field. And they did.
Exactly.
Because I remember when he did the bat flip in the playoffs the year before when they put the Rangers out, and I remember watching it going, you know what? If that guy doesn't get plunked in spring training, the first time these two teams meet, then I'm going to lose some respect for the Rangers. And I was watching all season, like, you guys better take care of this.
Someone's got,
And it was the last game they played. It was the last time he was probably going to be out there, and they did.
Yep.
That's one of the beautiful things about baseball. We hold a grudge.
Yeah.
They
know how to hold a grudge.
That's right, and they take care of it, as it should be. It should be.
Yeah.
So, that this day in baseball history, brought to you by the Snarky Parenthetical.
There you go.
Yep. So we can go ahead and kind of shift gears here a little bit. I could watch that video all day, but still got a little bit of show left to do here. So
that's right.
So let's move on. Segment 3 is usually where I talk about something I find mildly irritating. And this came up this week. Channel surfing. I was probably watching the Olympics with my kids, and commercial comes on, and I find mildly irritating all of these pharmaceutical prescription drug commercials.
Oh yeah.
I don't know when they really started advertising these things. Number one, it's sort of confusing to me, like who the target audience is. Like nobody, unless you're a doctor, and you can't prescribe this. Like,
right.
Like, I mean, so it's almost like a weird marketing ploy anyway, like trying to get the eventual drug participant to
Right.
then go into their doctor and request this drug, right?
Yeah, seems a little. Wouldn't you want your doctor to just recommend it in the first place?
Exactly, and
Yeah.
hopefully not based on who's got the best ad campaign.
Right. Right.
So right off the bat, I'm already a little sort of perturbed by these commercials to begin with. you
Right.
know. And they're so weird. Like for all the different products, all the different things, it's like I never would have even thought that this was a physical condition, and you've marketed a drug to fix it. Like all of the stuff that they're advertising drugs for.
Right.
This particular commercial, so I'm not really going to name the drug or the drug maker because I'm not really trying to call them out because it just happened to be the one that I saw. Sort of like the deal with the kid on ESPN. Not really calling him out. It was just he was the one with the hairdo that I didn't like.
Yeah.
So I'm watching this commercial, and it's a prescription drug to treat schizophrenia. Okay.
Okay.
Now, I am not making light of the people with this condition. Okay? Disclaimer. I am not making fun of schizophrenia. I'm making fun of the commercial. Okay.
There we go.
Not making fun of schizophrenics. I'm not making fun of schizophrenics. And neither am I. That was just too easy. Okay. So this commercial starts out, and it's these two women in a cab. And one of them is talking to the other. And as they're in the cab, they go by and they see like a little billboard for this drug that they're, and she points it out. And she's like, oh, that's the drug that I take for schizophrenia. And I'm watching this. And in the commercial, only one woman is speaking, right? Like she's talking to her friend in the back of the cab.
Right.
And so the first thing I think is, we're talking about schizophrenia. Could we have the other woman say something, please, so that I don't think this is just this is just one of the voices in this other chick's head?
Yes.
Like I half expected her to turn to the cab driver and go, "You see this girl, right?
Right.
Like, you see her too, right?" Like,
I
was like, it's a drug for schizophrenia. Like,
right.
Did you not think about this? Like, it's one person talking to another person. Like, I've seen too many movies, where the twist at the end is, oh no, it was all in his head. So you got that, right?
Already, yeah.
Yeah, and then so she goes on and on about this drug or whatever, and then they get to wherever they're going. I don't know, some party or whatever, and then the tagline by the voiceover at the end. We want you to know, you are not alone. It's a drug for schizophrenia.
Right.
Aren't we trying to kind of convince them that they are alone? Like,
right. Yeah.
All those other voices you're hearing or all those other people you're seeing aren't really there. Like, it really is just you. Okay, isn't that kind of the thing we're trying to treat? So maybe
Very good
not
point.
make your ad campaign end with the tagline, "You're not alone." Or maybe it's genius marketing. Maybe it's trying to tell all the schizophrenics they need this drug. That they heard the voice on TV tell me I'm not alone. Like,
that's the subliminal.
Yeah. Maybe I totally missed the
Playing
point.
both sides there.
Yeah, it could be. Yeah, I hadn't thought about that until just now. But I heard the little soothing voiceover, because we want you to know you're not alone. And I'm thinking, well, I kind of want them to think they are. Like, that's kind of the problem, isn't it? Like, what exactly are we doing here?
Seems it's leaving me more disturbed than I was when I first read.
Yeah, it's like, I know I'm disturbed.
Yeah.
Right. And then of course you have the disclaimers at the end of all these commercials, which are usually the best parts.
Yeah.
Of these.
Oh yeah.
Like the side effects that they have to rattle off at the end of these things after you've just watched this, what looks like a Hallmark movie of a commercial, and then the guy comes on at the end, and on this one in particular, one of the side effects was could lead to rapid increase in heart rate, increasing the possibility of sudden death.
Wow. Okay.
So, well, you won't have schizophrenia anymore. Maybe it's a one-pill cure.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Can't have. Yeah.
Might cause sudden death.
But on the bright side, we treated the schizophrenia though.
Yep, one less schizophrenic.
You don't have,
Right? I mean, I would have loved to have been in the room for this ad campaign pitch. It's like, here's what we think. We put a couple couple of normal looking ladies in the back of a cab. One of them's going to do all the talking, so you're not really sure if they're both really in the cab.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody follow me? Okay. By the way, yeah, we are going to have to do a little disclaimer at the end that says this could cause sudden death, but we'll get that really fast talking guy to do that at the end. Don't worry about it.
Yeah. Speed up the
could cause sudden death. Okay.
Well then.
Yeah. So
guess I'll just hope I'm not one of those.
Right. These are the things that bug me about certain commercials. That one in particular just blew me away.
Yeah.
A drug for schizophrenia.
And then I could just imagine, because there's always the ask your doctor if blah, blah, blah is right for you, right?
Yeah.
And then you go into your doctor, you're like, hey, can you check and see if I'm one of those sudden death ones, though? Can you?
Exactly. Yeah.
How do I know I'm not one of those?
Can you give me the odds,
Yeah.
Doc? Like, what's the prognosis?
Yeah.
Should I just deal with the voices in my head? Like, is it 50-50? I mean, like, I'm a gambling man, but come on,
Right.
I mean, what exactly
How
are
sure
we
are
dealing
we?
with here?
Yeah.
I mean, should I, take this drug on my way out and then, just party it up tonight? Because who knows? Like,
That's what they were doing in the commercial, so maybe
apparently
that's what, yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, you got any favorite prescription drug ads?
Man, there's a lot of interesting ones nowadays. I was trying to think of the one. The funniest thing to me is exactly what you said. Just all the disclaimers that just make me think. I think I'd rather just try and kind of muscle through whatever
exactly
ailment it is.
Yeah, I saw one. I can't remember exactly what it was treating for, but it was like an intestinal issue, and one of the side effects was like it can cause like sharp abdominal pain. I was like, well, how do you know if it's the drug or the disease then?
Yeah.
Hey, doc, thanks for the pill. My stomach hurts. Is the pill working or not?
Right.
Nobody knows.
Could be a good thing or it could be a bad thing.
Yeah.
How sure are we?
The doctor's like, you'll probably be all right. No, but however, it could also be sudden death. So, maybe get that checked out.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks, doc. Appreciate that. Where'd you come up with this prescription, by the way? Well, they had a great commercial.
Yeah.
Great commercial. Loved the voiceover. Dude looked like my grandpa. I just loved it. Everything. Like, yeah.
Uh-huh.
And some of the things that were, that were advertising. Like, I'm not going to get into the specific disorder that I know everybody is thinking of. That every time one of these commercials comes on, I'm sitting there watching TV with my kids. I cannot find the remote fast enough.
Right.
That's also the time when I happen to lose the remote and/or it stops working.
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course.
It's like, here's a conversation I don't want to have, and I'm scrambling trying to find the remote, and of course the dog has taken it outside, or the batteries quit working at that exact moment. Like, how many of these commercials can we have? I mean, certain products, it seems to me, once people know about them, kind of sell themselves.
Right.
Right.
You got, yeah.
If you need that, it's available. Do you really need an ad to convince you to buy it?
Exactly.
All right.
Yeah.
If I hinted around enough, does everybody know what we're talking about here? So I don't have to get specific and risk an FCC violation of some sort. Like, which is another thing. Like, how's the FCC letting half of these ads out there?
But then they'll the stuff they censor and then actually. But those ads seem to be just fine.
And on this schizo ad, the other thing that I thought of was, all these people I see on Twitter who try to get you to refer to them with their preferred pronoun of they. Mm-hmm. Maybe this drug's for you.
There you go.
Maybe this drug's for you.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not in
You're
any
that
way
person in the back of the cab
hoping that it causes sudden death. That's not what we're saying here. But if you, as one person, are telling me to call you they,
got to start wondering.
Big Pharma might have something for you.
Mm-hmm.
Just saying.
It's a whole new market.
Yeah, because you could be confused about male, female, whatever, but there's still just one of you. So stop trying to get me to call you they, them. Like, come on. Just There's only so much mangling of the English language I can put up with.
Right. We deal with enough of that outside of outside of this. Yeah.
All right. I think I've sufficiently offended plenty of Plenty of people for the day.
Accomplished our mission.
Yeah. Job well done, I'd say. So I want to thank everybody for tuning in again and listening to me unravel my mind here on the Snarky Parenthetical. Thanks to the JPK Network, Stan the Man, Brett behind the board. Everybody have a good weekend. We
All
will
the folks
see
at
you.
Kahuna Burger. Don't forget.
Kahuna Burger
Big hit.
is a tasty, tasty burger. We'll see you next week.